T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us again for another Breeding and Seed Collectors episode. And I got a special dude to lead this one off with. You guys have probably heard me say when people ask me for I need something strong or I want something that's kind of gassy, I'm always saying Dominion Seed Co. Duke Diamond. So I wanted to bring him here today. And how are you doing today?
Doing good, dude. How you doing?
I'm awesome, man. Thank you again for making the time because you're a person that I really want people to get familiar with if they already aren't, because you do, in my mind, a lot of things right and a lot of the things that I think some other people are missing. So I wanted to kind of highlight those today for everybody watching. And the proof is always in the pudding with the breeder's work. So that's important. But you do a lot of work before you're even making the pudding. And that's what I wanted to touch on kind of real quick. It's like as a breeder, you're kind of known for meticulously developing a strain and then doing that and then rigorously testing it as well. But can you maybe elaborate on some of your process and thoughts behind developing a strain?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Basically, it's going to start at the concept, right? I'm looking for something in my life that I want, a particular, say a smell, right? Or and an effect. So with that goal in mind, through decades of experience, like certain things that I've worked with so much, like it becomes almost predictable. And by saying that, I mean, I know that, this is true breeding for this, this is going to put this over here. I might not have an exact idea of what's going to happen in other things, but I know certain other things, it will remain true. So, so when I want to go after, say, a particular, say, smell and effect, I always said that you can tell what a real, I will state this too, a real breeder hates, because the fly by night chucking bullshit, whatever, there's nothing there. But you can tell what I hate. So I don't like trimming. I hate trimming. I cannot stand trimming, so you'll see a lot of my stuff very high bract to leaf ratio. So, that's another thing that I'm going to breed for. I hate having to go in and, stake stuff up and, all the excess supporting and everything. Hate that too. So I want to make sure that good, strong branching, something that can hold itself up. And, only when tops get so ridiculously chunked up are they, but
right.
You know how some stuff is, man, even in veg, it's just wet noodle.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. I like plants that aren't fussy, I like them just to be good, strong, vigorous plants, from root vigor to what's going on above the soil. Also like that, things that you don't necessarily have to mess with them a lot. The structure is there. You're achieving what one might consider that's just the optimal shape. I didn't have to bonsai or do any low training. It worked. That's great. I like to have a respectable flowering time. I'm not really on that, because things are going to take however long they're going to take. But I like to keep it, somewhere between 63 and 70 days. So, try to work hard at that. And there's a lot of criteria that I want in my goal. So therefore I need to find the criteria with what I'm working with. So a lot of things is what someone may release right off the bat. That's just a step. that's going to another step to make something where I'm going to have to run through a lot of those, make sure I'm hitting my marks, and then go through and actually select this male or female if it's being reversed, and like, you know, get that perfect example. So that way, when I do make my outcrosses to other, you know, things that become like predictable, then boom, we grow them. And even in, say, F1 generations, you know, something that hasn't been filial bred over and over and over, uh, keep by doing it a certain way, you can kind of keep things a lot tighter than like a really wild polyhybrid, you know. So a lot of thought, you know, going in, how am I going to go about this, you know, and then it, you know, nothing glamorous about it, just putting in the time, putting in the work, and you know, and that's what it takes: time and effort.
You know, it's one of the things that people miss, I think, is the amount of time that it takes to do it proper. But it all starts with, you know, even more time getting familiar with the plants and knowing what it passes on, as you said, that sort of predictability. Because again, breeding is something that's done with intent and direction. So,
And a lot of noticing, you know, like when you're, yeah, I know I still do it to this day, but you're done with the work, you know. Like behind me is a tent. I'm recording a informational video for beginners, right? Like, so this is how you grow in a tent. And I made it kind of difficult. I gave myself a very restricted vertical height. I'm growing, you know, 9 different cultivars. And so, like, yeah, but it's cool because I can be like, well, this is an example of this type of plant, this type of plant. Now, even though I've grown some of these like 20 years, you know, or 20 plus years, I still sit here and I just watch the grass grow. You know, I'm just kind of staring at the plants. And a long time ago, when, you know, things were new, you start noticing little things that make it unique, like even to the smallest of things, like the length of the petiole stems, you know, the certain spacing that it has once it starts to flower, all these little tiny things, and how vigorous the root zones are. And you know, so if you're newer, you know, to growing, you know, and you're just kind of sitting there watching the plants, which I think we're all probably guilty of. Like the work's done, we're sitting there just, you know, chilling. Yeah. So if you're there, yeah, just start, you know, if you're growing the same thing more than once, you know, start, you know, taking all those little things in and noticing those things. And even if you're not making seeds or breeding, it's good to notice those things with just cultivation, you know, like, oh man, I'm not as happy today, my temps in the tent were good, but you might notice like, hey, it's wintertime, that floor started getting cold, the root zone temp wasn't as happy, you know. So, you know, little stuff like that. And you know,
experience.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to record, is this decades of experience and my random noticings and preparing for that, so people at the end of the day can, you know, grow to their potential even when they're starting out. And you know, from the seed pack with the information on how to grow it, and some information on, you know, how to set your space up and grow it, it's like, you know, kind of like a little recipe for success, you know. Well, success as far as I can say. I'm sure there's a lot of people who grow a lot better weed than I do, so but it works.
Well, it does. It works well for you, and it works well for others, which is, you know, awesome. And I want to touch on the packs here in a second. But another thing that I know you do is you also test the gear, which is good. You know, you're always running your own gear to test it out, but you're also like intentionally giving it a little bit of stress too. Can you maybe explain that and what your thought process is there?
It goes along with, I don't like, you know, fussy plants. Now, I don't like fussy plants over, you know, near optimal conditions. But as a person who's making seeds and selling seeds, I don't know who that's going to go to. It might go to you, all right? It might go to your cousin who's never grown anything before. It might go to your second cousin who's got like, a death thumb, not a green thumb. They need to be like I said, strong plants. And if a slight light leak were to cause things just to herm out like crazy, that's not something I would feel comfortable with, like just putting out there to the general public. um there have been, there was one thing in the past that didn't do that. It was more of an overfeeding thing, and specifically with using humic, and a lot of
Mm,
people heard about humic and they were just
yeah.
pounding plants with it. um Dude, I could do 2 hours on that, but anyways, it didn't like it, right? So I put on the pack, in the growing notes, like, everything like normal, but it just said don't supplement, humic acids. Just don't
Wow.
do that. If you do, you might end up with some hermaphroditic flowers. So a lot of people are just like, nope. They saw that and just got scared. That honesty, right, scared them, and they didn't buy it. A lot of other people that knew what it was, they took heed, and they were like, yeah, no problems, no problems at all, like it was great. But the thing is just that honesty, and saying that to prevent problems, people strayed away from it. And that's fine, like,
Hmm.
no problem. But what I thought right then and there is like, well, if here on out, because I'm going to be honest, if anything is that fussy, over, something that's really in our control, I'm just
Right.
not I'm just not going to put it out there. So yeah, light leaking them, overwatering, drought, about anything, running hot rooms and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You get to see all your children and how they handle themselves, and things that really push through, extremes of one way or another. Those made it forward into what, I considered like, you know good for the masses. No matter who it was, they would do fine.
And that's so important, never underestimate people, because there's a lot of people with good intentions that don't understand. And it kind of sucks to see that it's like there's a disincentive to be honest in a way, but it didn't matter in two ways. One, there's enough people familiar with your work that heeded the warning. They're like, yeah, okay, fine, no worries. And then, again, like, two, those people that shied away from it aren't the people you probably wanted to grow it anyways. Because again, we all want the best for our babies,
Right.
and you're just setting them up for success there.
Mm-hmm. Because I look at it this way: if you have a lot of bad growers growing your stuff and they're showing it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not reflecting very well on you.
No.
And it goes back to, I'm sure you and probably a lot of people that are going to watch this are going to be able to relate. Somebody says, oh, that weed, oh, I smoked that weed, it sucked, like it is really shitty weed. And a few other people say the same thing, and you got one guy who's like, yeah, I grew that clone out, I like it. And everybody's like, oh, well, you obviously don't smoke weed, or
Right.
whatever. Like but then you look at their grow and you're like, wow, like this dude crushed it. Really, really
Yeah.
good grower. And then, you smoke that. They don't even think it's the same clone. And then lo and behold, they find out it all came from the same guy. So you don't want, people, having poor results, because it's not gonna look good on you.
Yeah, and I've absolutely resonate with that, and a lot of people who shop in the recreational market can probably relate to when they pick up what they think is their favorite strain, and they're like, "This is nothing like what I've experienced before." So, but it's the same thing.
No, no,
But
grind with extra shit, love, whatever.
well, going the extra step though is, you kind of alluded to it or hinted at it here too, is the information and the details that you put on the back of your pack. And that is for years why I've recommended you or your beans to a lot of new growers. As we've already seen today, you actually grow the stuff out, you pay attention to it, but not only that, you give growers details on the back of the pack to set them up. So can you maybe explain some of the things that you put on there,
Yeah.
just for information that, it's better than a freaking sticker and a shiny Mylar. I'll say that
Yeah,
much.
yeah, for sure. It'll definitely pay in spades. So one of the so it's broken down into sections. There's the morphology section, letting in veg, you're going to see plants, say a certain type of structure, right? And that those will stretch between, and it's generally pretty tight, like 2 times to 2.5 times, somewhere in there. And then there might be, the 20% of outliers, that
Right.
have a little bit different look, and say, well, those are going to stretch 2.5 to 3 times. So just by knowing how much, the different ones that you might see, the little variants in a pack, knowing right off the bat how much those are going to stretch, that's allowing you to prepare for where you're going to bloom at. So that way you're not sending plants up into your lights or having them not stretch at all. You didn't veg them very much. That alone,
Yeah.
And then like in the growing notes, like that's where anything specific, like if these things are just calcium monsters, letting people know ahead of time, hey, go ahead and feed calcium, in pre-bloom, maybe a week or 2 weeks prior to, and keep that up all the way through week 5, front load it and then sustain it. Things like that keep people from running into problems. Letting them know how to shape them, because some plants don't like to get topped. You'll top a
Yeah.
plant, yield goes to shit. So letting people know the best way to shape them, multi-headed topped, monster bush, or hey, leave it alone, but give it little pinches. So that way you end up with the apex cola, and like you've pinched it enough to where everything around it is pretty close, but it's still dominant, right? And that'll give you, the perfect shape. But if that apex cola loses dominance, like the yield will go to shit. And it's just a growth loss and distribution type thing. Some plants freak out. So just letting people know, like, hey, don't top it, just do this. That way their very first run with it, it'll go back to their noticing and their environment and all that stuff. But the basis of their success, boom, just a little bit of, just passing it on, because you made the seeds and sold them, you tested it, right?
Yeah.
So when I do, yeah, I'm just noticing, like a grower, like a weed grower that's also, making seeds. I know it's a crazy thought, but yeah, just passing on what you literally had just done, and then also elaborating, smell, flavor, effect, because I don't want to sell you, if you're looking, maybe it's the smell or whatever, but I'm like, Chad, this is going to kind of put your dick in the dirt. You want kind of functional daytime weed that's got a little
Right.
in the step. This is going to give you, cinder block feed. So you don't want that. But I know a very reputable brand who's also a friend who happens to have something that's in the same smell, but the effect that you're looking for, I don't got it. And I'm more than happy to, send you right over to him. So that way you get what you want, that you get the right thing. And I feel the more explanation on exactly what you have in store is going to prevent a lot of people from getting what they don't want. So it's literally spelled out what it is, how it grows, flowering time to how many seeds are in the pack, at all, everything you need to know. So yeah, when I started doing the new packaging and everything, it's this website, QR code or whatever, it just links you to the website, and that info is permanently there with pictures and, documentation, all that shit. So that way the person getting it, if you're going to give me your hard-earned money and you're getting ready to put your time, time that you can't get back, right? That if you're gonna go down that route, that you're gonna get more than your money's worth, and you're gonna be a happy person, and you're gonna be educated in what you got, knowing what's coming, and how how to adapt for that stretch wise or whatever. And then the next layer of that, because everybody grew differently. Some people are in cocoa, some people are in rock wool, some people do like a mixed mash of synthetic soils, and all types of different styles. So I was like, well, I grow in my soil, so I had to build a soil, make my own soil mix, and it's exactly the same. So exact same thing I'm growing in there is the exact same thing you can just buy. So if you're like really into your Dominion stuff and you want to be exactly, hey, if you're the right temperature, right humidity, and everything, you're growing in that, we're going to have similar or exactly the same type of result. So I was like, well, that's one more factor out of the equation. And then third, I was like, well, new people, there's certain things that we take for granted because we've done it so long. We don't think of like relaying that to somebody, something that we might even say, well, it's kind of common sense, but it's only because we've been doing it so long. They
don't know until you know.
Right. So, going through literally all the basics of setting up your space and why you go through that before we even start growing, and then taking them through week to week and showing them different training techniques and how different plants react, and defoliating, just the basics, and just show people like, hey, it can be that. It can be that simple, that easy. And, even if you're not growing my shit, I don't care. Like, if you're growing good weed, like, good on you. The information will be there, and enjoy, So
I like that you've QR coded it to the website, because you could definitely fit a lot more information there. And you said the pictures too, because the pictures help. But, a big takeaway from that is, you're trying to set people up for success. And like you said, whether it's your gear or somebody else's gear that fits the description of what they want, that's awesome, because that's going to get people growing. That's going to get more plants into this world. And, when I have that sort of experience and I get really good advice, I usually circle right back around to that person to be like, well, I want to support them too, or you just say thank you or whatever. So
a lot of people, if you're, watching this and you've ever met me at a trade show, you probably either heard me do that, or I might have done that for you. Just saying, I don't think I have anything exactly, but I can think of a couple places, go check these people out, ask them for this, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, cool. And then you see them at another show and they come back like, yeah, you're spot on. That's awesome. But I really do want something that you got now. And I know I want it, and it's right here. And it's like, yeah, here you go. Here's a couple buds. Go get fried and enjoy.
Well, let's talk about some of your work. This has all been great information, and we'll talk about some of the things people may be able to find. But some of your like highlighted strains. One of the ones I think of instantly is like the local skunk F3. Can you maybe tell people about that one, what it is, and what they kind of expect with the local skunk F3?
For sure. With her, she is, well, like I said, work to an F3. Basically, in the F1 generation, I mean, all stunners. You got that like sour pine skunk spray mix, like just gnarly weed, really potent and all. But the real all stars in it favored the mom on the resin production, and just the overall flower morphology, really, really great. So that's where it started. Is like, all of these are good. Like, everything I'm seeing is good, but these ones are great. So I want everybody to, pop more seeds and get more great ones, So that's where it starts. And then the trick of it, finding the correct male. in the F1 generation. So since we're breeding not only for, all the other things, but terpene profile, and that does not come from a stem rub. The stem rub gang is off on that. So if that's important, you're actually taking the time, taking cuttings of males, reversing them, treating them good,
Wow.
and growing them all the way to fruition, like as you would with a female, and getting an idea of what terpene profile are you looking to put on. And that's only after all the other criteria has been met. So you'll have a winner circle of, everything else is spot on, but then you got to see out of this winner circle who's got the nose, because that's important here. So using that male, then you go into an F2 generation, everything starts to spread out. You really see, every spectrum of color in the entire rainbow. So then you really have to work through there. You got to find the female that you're looking at, but you're going to have to repeat that once again with the male. Then you'll go on and you'll make the F3. And then once you have your F3, you're growing them out and you see, and if you hit the mark, and for sure, definitely hitting the mark. And, a little bit of stress induced to them as well. Make sure that they're not just going to flip out or whatever. And yeah, just take a note of, the stretch and everything. That's all like cliff notes of how to get there. There's a lot more to it than this.
Oh yeah.
A lot of time as well. But now, we're where they dropped in June. So been getting a lot of grow reports back. A lot of guys, since testing is kind of like available to everybody now, people are, turning in samples and hitting me up like, yeah, 32%. One guy had a 34%, and they were all very, very high in THC, which I'm like, yeah, it doesn't matter. It looks cool, because like, I've had like 13% weed that just floor you, but
yeah.
But it's still cool, very frosty. They're not having, problems and all good, gnarly, stinky bud. The other cool thing about her was the amount of stretch that's there. Definitely alleviates like any additional veg time. You won't need it.
Okay.
It's like Jack and the Beanstalk, just
Okay.
But the thing is it's productive stretch. So you're not just ending up with huge internodal spacing, with a little, golf ball, every 8 inches or 10 inches,
Yeah.
it stretches, but it stacks, the whole way it stretches. So basically like a cash cropping dream, more or less.
Yeah.
Very frosty, very potent, good flavor. Certain ones, like when you held out a whole pack, which is like 15 seeds, you definitely have those individuals that give you the good like sour pine mouth coat. It's real nice, man. Real nice.
Refined. It packs the punch. And another one that you had here was the North End punch.
Oh yeah, boy.
Please tell me about that one.
That's night special. The the mother of that was the Hoodoo, which was like a Kim dog on steroids.
Wow.
There were these really cool individuals that would pop out of it. We called them starburst, phenos. It was like a pink starburst.
Okay.
They were really, really awesome. They weren't the most common thing in the world, but an outlier, but really good. And it started out playing with one of those, just seeing like, well, if we try some things, hit some things at it, I wonder if we can get that starburst to kind of, play out in the progeny, since it's like, kind of an outlier. And it actually worked out very well. So we ended up, it's like, yeah, the Sangria punch was just awesome. That's Killer Queen, Lone Star's Killer Queen clone, which is like red Hawaiian punch and gunpowder, and will just fuck you up,
Wow.
And then the daddy to that is the Screaming Eagle, which to me is like it's a representation of the all things that were the best of that G13 type hybrids, smacked into one. And the sangria punch was just great. And I was like, this really needs to be used to further along like fruity lines, because there's a lot of people that like fruity weed, but then there's a lot of people that don't like fruity weed, and it has nothing to do with the taste. They're just not used. It's typically kind of weak. It doesn't have the oomph to it. So yeah, fix that. Yeah, fix that.
It's like sometimes the worse it smells, the stronger it is, whether it's a nutrient or whether it's weed. So
yeah, and it's definitely on the night side. It will definitely put you down. But once again, strong branching, not fall over, yields like a motherfucker. Good, frosty, pungent, and just tastes so good. Which is kind of a problem considering the effect, but yeah.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Good problem to have. Well, let's before we go here, I want to touch on maybe a couple of ones that you're excited for in the future, and then I definitely want to let everybody know where they can find you and your gear, and actually some of your merch. I'll probably put a picture up of me wearing your shirt, but I didn't want to wear it. Didn't want to wear it in front of you, but
it's pretty tight shirt, like the burrito breath. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I dig it.
Gas man hauling gas, dude. Oh man.
Yeah. I like the last one I got too, but I kind of put on I ate too many hot dogs in the meantime, so I upped my size this time.
It happens, man. The gout to get you, man. You start swallowing.
There you go. Puffed up. But yeah, so what were a couple of things that you were excited, or maybe one thing you're excited to put out, and then maybe one thing you're excited to start working with here in the future?
You, sir, have impeccable timing. All right. So tomorrow, which will be Thanksgiving, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be Thanksgiving tomorrow when we're doing this, but this will air after Thanksgiving, so it's already out, guys. Hopefully it's still in stock.
It's probably not going to be, but if it is, like, you're in luck. So tomorrow night, I'm gonna put the little thing up here, so that way people in the future people on your hovering skateboards, the email right there. We have a website. It's dominionseedco.com. You can look at everything, but there's an email. You hit that email, and we'll email you back a list of what's available. I know how platforms are, so I won't mention anything about money, but it basically wholesale direct to the people, so prices are a lot lower than probably what you would be accustomed to seeing. So there'll be the Sangria Valley, which was a SFV sangria that we were messing with around the time of that North End Punch. Just fantastic, just awesome. And then the Fem project been working on for a while. So a whole line of well, I can't say a whole line because only putting 2 out right now, but Strawberry Deluxe and and Cherry Berry. So my Smucker's clone, which is the most strawberry jam, most strawberry to ever strawberry, reversing that to an old strawberry diesel clone that we had, and then also to the cherry AK-47. Both just thumpers, dude. Like I said, I know limited on time. I could do some OBS magic and start bringing up pictures of it all, but they can go to the website. It'll be on there. So and it goes back to the people that are brand new to growing. They do like films, because a lot of people that are growing now only grow because laws have changed. So they still want to abide by any regulations, and I totally understand. I really do. So they don't want to get a whole bunch of rags and maybe have to pick through males. Also, they not want a 13 pack or a 10 pack of films either. So selling film packs and 3 seed packs. And if you
Perfect.
if you want 3 packs or, 9 seeds, and, price drops down a little bit more, but
Oh, nice.
it's, yeah. So making it to where if you're just starting out or whatever, you got something good and solid that'll hold up to, some good harsh environments, and get some strawberry fuel in your life that's got a punch to it. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's, yeah, that's going to be all of December. So
Nice.
Grio Valley, Thanksgiving night, and then probably like December 1st, put on the strawberry, man.
That'll be badass, and maybe I can clip some of this out and post that up too, let people know. But if you're just watching this now, guys, definitely check out his website, and YouTube. Let's let people know where they can find you too, because and again, I will say too, when it comes to beans, if you can go breeder direct, always go breeder direct, because you're going to get a much better deal, and you never know what else comes with it. So
Yeah.
insight to the grows, but please, let's let everybody know where they can find you in the future.
Yeah. Like you'll find me hitting this cool little Dominion.
What?
Yeah, it turns into a bowl.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
All in one. Put it in the
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah. And yeah, the flame shoots out, lights up the bowl, flip it up, good to go.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Uncle Rico. So yeah. Um, there's a Discord, which is where I've been telling people from Instagram, like go over there. It's just easier to have conversations that like Instagram's great for hey, cool, or hey, hello. But
Yeah.
anything more than that, it's like, it's like wanting to have a 2 hour conversation and you're doing it through text. Like just fucking call. You know what I'm saying? And and that's kind of what it is. And it's just weird. I get like weird DMs, or like, I don't know what you want to call them, but like scam shit. Hey, you want a new logo? Hey, want some new
Totally.
pictures, or always that. And then yeah, it's just too much to keep up with. So if you can join the Discord, lots of information there. It's always popping, always going on. Do Friday night Q&As. Like it's not even Patreon. Like you it's free. You just
Wow.
show up, ask me a question. I'll do the best to answer it. I do that every Friday night. I answer DMs there. There's always like there's seed exclusives, like they get early bird, like it's good. So some people are like, well, I don't know, like might be like spying on me, the Chinese or whatever. It's like literally you're sending me a DM over a meta fucking app owned by
Yeah.
Zuckerberg. Really? Like you're
Discord.
really? So if you're that worried, like pull the internet cord on the crib, you'll be safe. I hope.
See me at a show.
Yeah, just catch me at a show. You know what I mean? We can do it like that. Otherwise, if you're not that concerned, Discord's great. It's fine. Gamers use it all the time. It's nice. So hit that up. On the Instagram, there is a link tree link that's in the bio, the header, whatever you call it. If you click there, that's a YouTube channel. This instructional video I've been talking about growing, I've been just putting it on Discord, like as I do each segment. Eventually I'll finalize it, go and premiere, get it all, real cool. And then I'll put it up on YouTube, because you know how it is. You put half of it up even now, like everybody's gonna ask you questions. What do I do in week 9? And it's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
No, you need to
Finish.
go. Yeah. So yeah, there's that. So the real Duke Diamond, that's the Instagram. The Instagram for the company is Dominion Seed Co. Actual. So if you look that up,
I'll put them down in the
you'll have that. That there's links to the site, t-shirts, hoodies, seeds. Eventually we're gonna do some clones, yada yada yada. That's it, man. Holler at Discord. If you got any questions, let's refer that to Mr. Westport, and he will get you going.
badass, dude. Again, Duke, thank you so much for your time, and everybody watching. Highly suggest you check out the Discord, learn a little bit, and take a visit by his website. But it's been a fun way to get the show started. Everybody stick around. We've got a lot more to come. But for you, Mr. Duke Diamond, you have a wonderful day, dude. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, anytime, brother. You know that. Y'all take care. Happy holidays.
Fuck you, Westport!